Now, here's a hot take. Rolling Stone magazine featuring a writer who argues that cancel culture is actually good for democracy and will liberate us all. He goes on to say this: leveled the playing field for those who can't always rely on the government to protect them, and is the poison to those in power that have benefited from unchecked free speech. And here's someone hoping not to get canceled. Don Lemon returning to CNN after making sexist comments about Nikki Haley being past her prime. He apologized on Twitter, but not on air, after undergoing formal training that seemed to be making light of the situation.
Physical health up, there you go, and mental health up here, that was also up.
To jump.
There you go.
Are you getting too old for that?
Yes.
We're all young enough at heart, so I wouldn't worry too much.
All right, that was a good little quip by her.
Wow.
Piers, I got to go to you. What happened to Rolling Stone magazine?
Look, I don't believe in cancel culture at all, but I'm prepared to make an exception for Rolling Stone magazine. What a load of absolute guff. And let me give them a simple example of where cancel culture actually was potentially horrendous for democracy. Because this is still the thing that alarms me most in probably the last few years about cancel culture. The New York Post, for whom I write columns, had a brilliant story. It was a completely true story. It involved a laptop belonging to Joe Biden's son, Hunter. And they splashed it all over the front page. And the woke-ravaged management at Twitter cancelled the story. They literally cancelled it. They deleted the story, and they deleted the New York Post Twitter account until they removed their entirely true story. That was just a few weeks before the election. A lot of polling since has shown that if the voters had known that story properly, if it had been properly followed up by the mainstream media, most of whom took the line it was Russian disinformation, which was a lie, had they done that, it could have swung the election to Donald Trump's way. And if that isn't a perfect example of cancel culture working in many invidious ways, but in that case specifically to thwart democracy and perhaps to change the result of a US election, I don't know what is. So, yeah, you can talk about all the individuals, people like J.K. Rowling who get cancelled because they think a woman is an adult female. You can talk about all those people, and some survive and some don't. But this goes on right at the top and has incredibly serious consequences. So Rolling Stone have got it completely wrong. It's the opposite.
It's opposite,
Cancel culture is terrible for democracy.
Well, and also, Judge, we do know a lot of the celebrities and their stories, but there are a lot of people who are not celebrities who have ended up on the cutting room floor, and their lives have never been the same.
Yeah, the truth is that, you know, that when you're canceled, it's like a scarlet letter. Or it's like if you're in a criminal trial and you're a defendant, you've got a prior conviction that allows the jury to think that you're not credible, and anything you say, even in your own defense, is not sufficient to allow the jury to believe you. But we don't need cancel culture because people ostracize each other based upon, you know, what they like or dislike about you. But what we've got is we've got criminal laws, we've got civil laws, we've got defamation. We're the most litigious society in the world. You know, who are these accusers who decide that we should lose our job, we should never be spoken to, and we can't allow these people who are no names to destroy the lives of Americans? And there is no appeal, there is no regress, there is nothing that you can do. Only time will heal it.
Yeah.
And it is, it doesn't liberate us. In fact, it puts us in chains. It takes away our free speech, our ability to disagree. It is the exact opposite of what they allege it is.
What do you think, Jesse?
Well, I don't believe in cancel culture, but I'll make an exception for Piers Morgan. But
Actually, Meghan Markle already tried that. Right. And look where I ended up.
Back, baby.
Look at you.
I want to define what cancel culture is. I don't think cancel culture is when some rich celebrity says something horrible and then they lose a movie role. It's when some random person says something and then the mob comes at them like a hurricane and they get fired and they go bankrupt. That's cancel culture, and that is atrocious. And what that signals is that if you're an anonymous Twitter person and you join this scary mob and you take a scalp, they consider that an accomplishment. And that makes them feel worthwhile. And all they're doing is sitting in a dark room in their house behind a keyboard. And that means their lives are really empty. And that's the saddest part about cancel culture. It really signifies emptiness.
The other thing is that the culture, then, if it's that bad and the mob is that aggressive and powerful, I don't think it actually helps democracy if people are afraid to express their opinion.
Yeah, you might just say, well, I don't agree with that. I don't think there was a problem with that. You know, I pride myself in my comprehension. Especially, we have a test today. It's the C block, and I have to read the Rolling Stone article and make sense of it. And I failed. And this is though, I came out to 2 lines. I just go, I can't do it. Well, I said, why is it good? He goes, well, because straight white men and other people with power aren't used to getting pushback from the ways they conduct themselves. Really? And Republicans, why do they hate cancel culture? Republican leaders are bitter over the President Donald Trump being canceled. So now they want to make it harder for marginalized people in communities to vote. Okay, I can't even follow that. So you're saying you don't like the Georgia law, and that's Republicans' way of getting back for taking Donald Trump off Twitter? And white people don't want to be canceled, but now they're going to be canceled? That's why they're upset by it?
You took this assignment
That's
very seriously.
That's the problem you made. You made a mistake. You read the packet.
I apologize.
What was laughable, he actually called it a poison in there.
Yeah.
A poison. The poison is the cancel culture.
Right.
It's what Elon Musk called the woke virus, right? Which is infecting people's minds to think that this is normal behavior.
Right.
That's the poison.
And they all realize that it could come for them as well. I think the left is starting to realize that there's nothing we can do. Yeah.
Yeah, they started it, and then it blew up in their face.
Yeah, but we want Don Lemon to stick around.
We do.
Oh, yeah.
As long as possible.
Definitely.
We
Past
are
his
not
prime.
calling for anyone to be fired ever.
No,
Yeah,
we
Play it
are
out.
not doing
Never.
that. All
He
right.
actually said on CNN that I committed a racist act by disbelieving Meghan Markle.
What?
You did, to you.
That I did, apparently. So forgive me if I don't join
that
the
you-
campaign to keep him in his job.
And you work with him, too.
Did they take your office?
He did say, well,
Oh, nervous.
and you know what? It was one of those things we went in, and within about 5 seconds, all my favourite pictures had been removed. Well, one of those ones.
You
know.
were still in the building?
Wow. I never got
I
fired.
wasn't, but that didn't bother me. But the racist thing did, because it was a default thing. If you didn't believe Meghan Markle, you were racist, even though she was lying. It's like we called her Princess Pinocchio for a reason.
I agree.
The Duchess of Netflix.
Yeah. Oh,
right.
between you and Meghan, only one is going to go to see the king get his crown, and it's Piers Morgan.
Thank
am I right?
you.
Thank you. That's
And
right.
remember,
You
if
heard
hadn't-
it here
if you hadn't
first.
been too hasty,
All right, we got it right.
100 years ago, remember?
Yeah.
You could have still had a monarchy and had potentially King Piers.
we
Right,
blew
could
it.
have happened.
Okay, we gotta
Excuse
go.
me, sorry for winning.
Brian.
Sorry for winning.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.